Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2023 Polaris Slingshot R. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Slingshot R for many reasons, but first of all, I have to give a big thank you to Polaris themselves for flying me all the way out here to beautiful Southern California to drive the new Slingshot R. So we have plenty to talk about in this video, and I can't wait to get into it. But if you would like to share your vehicle with me, you don't have to fly me anywhere, but if you'd like to, you can. You can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2.0 liter inline 4. Well, it's actually an in-house engine from Polaris. They originally designed it for this and another one of their products, so it's not in everything. It's by far their heaviest duty engine that they offer. It's only 2 liters of displacement, but this particular Slingshot gets 203 horsepower. The reason I say this particular is that the lower trims actually come with a lower horsepower. I believe it's in the 170s. I'll put it up on screen here. And let me tell you, with that 8,000 RPM red line, it's quite the little treat. We're in a canyon. Let's see. Woo! That'll get going! So good! This is Miata levels of fun. It is intoxicatingly fun, and the open air experience is unmatched by anything I've ever driven before, and even the other 3-wheelers that offer an open top experience, it's not quite like this. This is, wowie kablowie. This is so fun. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual, which I love. It is an amazing transmission. Just the way it feels, the way it operates is so dang good. I am really, truly shocked and surprised. Last but not least, it is rear wheel drive, because it only has one singular wheel at the back. And this is the Slingshot R, so it comes with Brembo brakes, which are quite the treat as well. So how does it feel to actually drive the Slingshot? Well, it's an open air experience, and it's unmatched by almost anything else. You get the wind, you get all of these amazing feelings that you just don't get in a closed cockpit vehicle. One downside is that it is kind of hard to judge the front end because you think that you're skinnier than you are because the back end is so skinny. And when you go over a bump, you feel the front two, which feels normal, but then you feel an awkward third bump in the back, which can be very strange. And because this is a belt-driven vehicle, if you're unfamiliar with that or not used to that, it might take a little bit of getting used to. There's a couple different sounds, a couple different feelings that kind of go with that. But at the end of the day, it's an amazing driving experience, and I highly, 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 highly recommend renting one because Polaris actually supports most rental companies that you'll find with the Polaris Slingshot. So it's actually a Polaris-backed company most of the time, which is really, really cool, and it's a great way to test one of these vehicles out. But now I'm going to pull over so you can actually hear me, and we'll talk about the interior. So that's out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a mix of physical and digital gauges. So in the center, I do get a configurable digital gauge. I usually leave this on my speed, and it's very reminiscent of motorcycles or other Polaris products that you would see. Off to the left, I do have a physical speedometer, and off to the right, I do have a physical tachometer, along with my mode button that will change what is displayed on the screen. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our volume, skip track, and play/mute button, and off to the right, we have our cruise control options, pages icon, and this red Slingshot button. So that will toggle between the 2 different modes that the Slingshot has, either comfort mode or Slingshot mode. The overall steering wheel is leather, perforated leather at that, and that is part of the R package or the more upgraded Slingshot. Off to the left of me, I have a little tweeter, which has been added since the release of the Slingshot. And of course, the rest of it is nothing. I get a mirror and a little bar, But that's it, because this is an open air experience vehicle. Moving up into the center, we do have an optional Slingshot X grip, which is for your phone. If you're familiar with motorcycles, this is a very common accessory. Well, Slingshot themselves actually offer this as an option, or you could pick it up later if you already own your Slingshot and would like to add it, you can do that. Then we do have our Ride Command infotainment system. So this does have Apple CarPlay, as well as this will be your navigation, your stereo, and this is an upgrade in the higher trim levels of the Slingshot. However, if you want to retrofit your base model with this radio, they will allow you to do that. It also does feature a backup camera, which is actually more handy than you would think, and you can Bluetooth to your headset if your helmet has that capability, so you can hear your music and get your navigation through your headset rather than the speakers, because when you are wearing a helmet, it can be a little hard to hear. Down below that, we have our engine start-stop button, along with the traction control button, hazard switch, and a little light button. And then moving down, we do have a USB that will charge and operate for the infotainment system, as well as a little non-slip pad. Then we come to the shifter itself. Like I said, manual transmission. Absolutely love it, and it feels fantastic. Not only the shift knob has a good weight to it, but the actual clickiness of the transmission, like I mentioned earlier, and I will keep mentioning, is just such an insane feeling. I absolutely love it. I should also mention the Polaris Slingshot's glove box. Not only is it weather resistant and lockable, but it also does have a 12-volt outlet and a second additional USB just for charging inside that compartment, which is really, really helpful. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Slingshot, but predictably it fails. I had no hope that it would, and I was correct. And then we got to talk about the seats. So these are the upgraded seats as well. The Slingshot R is going to get a lot of those upgrades, which is why I was happy to be driving it. One of which is actually heated and cooled seats. That's that little controller. So plus is for heat, minus is for cooled. The reason it's plus and minus is that it's actually just a heat pump inside the seats. And the plus or minus decides whether you're spitting the heat out at the seat or sucking it up away from the seat. So kind of an interesting thing there, but these seats are very comfortable, and as Polaris has told me, they designed it to be able to be driven by as short as the 5th percentile of women, which is around 4'10", 4'11", that sort of area, all the way up to the 95th percentile of men, which seems to be 6'5", 6'6", that sort of thing. So odds are, if you're within that range, you're gonna be comfortable driving it. Now, we don't have back seats, but we do have cubbies behind the seats, and these are lockable. They are big enough to fit a helmet for each rider, although I was able to fit my backpack back there, which has a week's worth of clothing in it. So people actually use these for very practical purposes, which is interesting to see, and these containers certainly help out. But now let's do a walk around. Let's talk about the exterior of the Slingshot R, and this is finished in Pacific Teal Haze, which is amazing. It's a great color. It's more of a flat teal, which I really, really like. And of course, being out here in Southern California, this is the color that you want. The other colors that come on the R are Desert Sky, Graphite Blue, Miami Blue Fade, and Lime Dream. So a lot of cool color combos that you can get on the R that are signature to the R itself. Another thing I want to talk about is this does get the sport hood, which has these cool vents on it, which has been a lot of fun to watch the front suspension work as I've gone over bumps, and just adds a little cool factor. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think, having driven for a full day a manual Slingshot R? Well, I have to say my experience has been overwhelmingly positive. From the surface, wherever you're watching this video from, I don't know your background, you might be saying it's a little bit of an unnecessary vehicle, and the truth of the matter is yeah, it is. If you're a struggling mother of two living in Genoa City, Wisconsin, this probably isn't the car for you. But interestingly enough, in talking to Polaris, I said, what kind of demographics are drawn to this vehicle? And they said we can't really answer that because it's so wide and diverse. 33%, a third of Slingshot owners, daily drive them. which was astonishing to me. They see all ethnicities, they see all genders. And that to me is so flippin' cool because it really does offer an experience unlike most or any other. I'm not a big fan of motorcycles. I'm just not. I think that they're very dangerous. So I like being in a car. That's why I've always liked cars. And this offers that experience, but also mixes it with the experience of a motorcycle. That's why it's an auto cycle. It's why it's different. It's why it's unique. And it's just such a cool car to not only look at, but to be seen in. So many people in my day here in Los Angeles have come up to me and said, what is that? What are you driving? Love the color. How do I get one? It brings attention. When this vehicle was unveiled to me last night, there was a kid, had to have been like 2 or 3 years old, that just kept walking towards it and pointing at it. And his mom was like, let's go. We gotta keep moving. And all that kid wanted to do was stare at the Slingshot. That's the sort of attention and joy that this car is able to bring. But the biggest thing that sticks out in my head, honestly, really, truly, has been that shifter. I had such low expectations for this, and it blew every one of them out of the water. This shifter could rival the Mazda Miata. This shifter could rival Honda, and that is the highest praise I could ever give a shifter. It's lovely, it's beautiful, it's divine, it's elegant, it's rich and creamy and delicious. And that has been the biggest eye-opening experience when driving the Polaris Slingshot R. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge, incredibly enormous thank you to Polaris, not only for letting me take out their Slingshot R, but they actually flew me here to Southern California, put me up in a nice swanky hotel, and I cannot thank them enough. The hospitality, just talking with the press team, the manufacturers, has been so special and so unique. This has been the trip of a lifetime, and I can't thank them enough for it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.